कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वती देवी गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। Hare Krishna, dear devotees, welcome to our daily morning reading of Srimad Bhāgavatam. Please accept my humble obeisances or the wish to Srila Prabhupada. I beg for blessings from Srila Prabhupada, entire Guru Parampara, and my Guru Mahārāja. So I can speak few words in the glorification of Srimad Bhāgavatam. And I also seek blessings from all the Vaishnavas. Vancha kalpatarubhyasya kripa sindhubhyo evacha patitanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo namo namah. Just a second. So I was thinking that we are all so fortunate that Srimad Bhagavatam comes to us daily morning in the comfort of our own homes and gives us opportunities for our anartha nivritti. Like Bhāgavatam Thakur says in Govind Damodar Stotra, he says, Sukham Shayana Nilaye Jeti Namahani Vishnu Pravadanti Matya Tenishchitam Tanmayatam Brajanti Govinda Damodar Madhaviti. That even if one is peacefully sleeping in their own home and chanting the names of Vishnu, Govinda, Damodar, Madhav, then they Nishchitam Tanmayatam Rajanti. My voice is cracking, is it? Okay. So, Bhāgavatam Thakur says that Te Nishchitam Tanmayatam Rajanti, that certainly that person will at least attain the liberation, Tanmayatam, they will get the form similar to that of the Supreme Lord. Like that, Srimad Bhagavatam is so merciful on all of us that every morning it comes right at our doorstep and gives us opportunity to hear the glories of the Lord and start our day with the right consciousness. So, we are reading from Canto 1, chapter 18, titled Mahārāja Parīkṣit first by a Brahman boy. And we are reading verse 44 and 45 today. Narayanam namaskritya naram chaiva narottamam devim saraswatim vyasam tato jayamudiraye nashtaprayeshu abhadreshu nityam bhagavata sevaya bhagavati uttama shloke bhaktir bhavati naishtiki. Om namo bhagavate vasudevaya. Om namo bhagavate vasudevaya. Om namo bhagavate vasudevaya. Can someone please confirm if my voice is still cracking or is it better now?
All good, Mataji. We can hear you.
Yes. Okay. 1:18:44. Tad advayana papam. No, not like that. तद्दयना पापमुपेत्य अन्वयम् यन्नष्टनाथस्य वसोर्विलुम्पका परस्परं ज्ञनन्ति शपैति वृजन्ते पशून् स्त्रियोऽर्थान् पुरुषस्य भोजना. Let's read the synonyms. Tata, for this reason. Adya, from this day. Naha, upon us. Papam, reaction of sin. Upaiti, will overtake. Ananvayam, disruption. Yat, because. Nashta, abolished. Nathasya, of the monarch. Vasoho, of wealth. Vilumpakat, being plundered. Parasparam, between one another. Gnananti, will kill. Shapanti, disruption. Yajat, because. Nashta, abolished. Nathasya, of the monarch. Vasoho, of wealth. Pashun, animals. Yahat, Parthan, riches. Puru, greatly. Dasyavaha, his. Janaha, the mass of people. Translation and purport by Krishna Rupamurti, His Loving Remembrance, Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Due to the termination of the monarchical regimes and the plundering of the people's wealth by rogues and thieves, there will be great social disruptions. People will be killed and injured, and animals and women will be stolen. And for all these things, we shall be responsible. So here, when Samitrishi can see that Parīkṣit Mahārāja will not live longer, and now Kali will enter, he can foresee the chaos that is following. He can see that now the entire system of monarchy will collapse. There will be great social disruption. People will kill each other, harm each other, and steal animals, women, and property without the fear of a proper ruler. And Samitrishi is taking responsibility of the chaos that he can foresee. And we will see in our purport that Prabhupada highlights that people shape society by whom they follow and how they live. And of course, when Srīmad cursed Parīkṣit Mahārāja, he did not consider any of this. His thought was that Parīkṣit Mahārāja did this, so I will do that, tit for tat. And that's why in verse 42, we saw that Samitrishi addresses Shringi as Avipakva Buddhe. So Pakva means Pakahuva, something that is ripe. And Avipakva means unripe, immature. And Buddhe means intelligence. So Samitrishi tells Shringi that your intelligence is not Pakva, not mature yet. So you should not have made this call of cursing Parīkṣit Mahārāja. He should have waited till he talks to his father Samitrishi, because the intelligence of those who are older than us is most of the time more mature than us, so they can guide us better. So this is a lesson for us to not take any rash decisions, but beforehand consult with our superiors. Would anyone like to read the purport, please?
I can read, Mataji.
Yes, please.
Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. The word nah, we, is very significant in this verse. The sage rightly takes the responsibility of the Brahmanas as a community for killing monarchical government and thus giving an opportunity to the so-called democrats who are generally plunderers of the wealth of the state subjects. The so-called democrats capture the administrative machine without assuming responsibility for the prosperous condition of the citizens. Everyone captures the post for personal gratification, and thus, instead of one king, a number of irresponsible kings grow up to tax the citizens. It is foretold herein that in the absence of good monarchical government, everyone will be the cause of disturbance for others by plundering riches, animals, women, etc. Thank you, Mataji.
Okay. So in this verse, Samitrashi is stating the consequences of Parīkṣit Maharaj leaving earth. Firstly, he's saying that monarchy will collapse, and which will bring anarchy. So the etymology of the word monarchy is a Greek word which means, mono means one, and arche means to rule or the ruler. So monarchy means the society is ruled by one person, ideally a king, one king, monarchy. So the one ruler is responsible for people's welfare, and that encourages unity under one leadership. And anarchy in Greek means an means without, and archi means rule or ruler. So anarchy means the society is ruled by no one. No one is in particular responsible for people's welfare. So society that cannot remain unified, it becomes fragmented, and that leads to chaos, disorder, and selfishness in society. And in that selfishness, the morality gets kicked out of the door. So that our verse describes that animals and women and valuables will be stolen. So again, this is the beauty of Srimad Bhagavatam. It is life manual. What is not there in Srimad Bhagavatam? Many people have a lot of interest in politics, elections, who will win, who will lose. And Srimad Bhagavatam can guide us in that subject of politics also. So this verse and verses and sections like these, we will see, many more of such examples in Srimad Bhagavatam, which clear out our concept about the Vedic view of politics. What is the ideal arrangement as per the will of the Lord? So monarchy, Rajadharma is recommended by our Vedic scriptures. When one king is a Rajarshi, is a saintly king. So devotees like Yudhishthira Maharaj, Amrish Maharaj, Parīkṣit Maharaj, they all rule for the pleasure of the Lord and for the benefit of the people. So the ideal monarch, a Kshatriya, he is a leader by his quality that are guided by a Brāhmaṇa who is expert in the knowledge of Vedas, the scriptures. So the ideal monarch rules as per the guidance of Brahmanas and as per the order of the Lord, because that is what is included in Shastra, the will of Lord. So an ideal monarch is not a dictator. He knows that I am a servant of Krishna, and my praja, my subjects, they are parts and parcels of Krishna, which Krishna has trusted me to protect. So the king does not serve his senses. He serves the Supreme Lord and his citizens. He works as their servant. So in monarchy, the same is Yatha Raja Tatha Praja. So as is the king, so are the citizens. So we see in Bhagavad Gita, the shloka, Yadvid Acharati Shrestras. So how the leaders perform, that is how common people will follow. So that is how the same is in monarchy, Yatha Raja Tatha Praja. So the king, if the king is a spiritually trained leader, he is a Rajarshi. If he acts as per Shastra, and his personal example is discipline, dharma, his humility and his devotion to the Supreme Lord, it automatically shapes the character of his subjects and the quality of society. People will follow him, and automatically they will also follow Shastra, they will also follow Dharma, they will also follow the will of the Lord. So when Srila Prabhupada talks about Yudhishthira Maharaj's rule, he says that when Yudhishthira Maharaj was ruling, no one suffered. And why? Because the ruler was a pure devotee. So therefore, when the king is righteous, the society automatically becomes peaceful, prosperous, and spiritual because the king is following dharma. In Jagannath Puri, yesterday was Rath Yatra, and when I was reading about this verse and the ideal ruler's monarchy, I was reminded of the system that is still there in Jagannath Puri. So, even though monarchy is no longer in practice in India, now in India there is democracy, but the position of king is still ceremonial in the old Indian princely states. So, like that in Orissa, since ancient times, the king is called Gajapati Maharaj. So, in Orissa, Suryavanshi kings used to rule, and they used to be called Gajapati, the king of elephants, because they used to have many elephants. So, even today, Gajapati Maharaj is officially the chief servant of Lord Jagannath. Even today, when the Pandas offer service to Lord Jagannath, they say that, "Oh Lord of the universe, please accept this service on behalf of King Indradumna, who is your chief servant." So King Indradumna, as you know, he is the one who started the worship of Lord Jagannath on whose request the deities of Lord Jagannath Baldev Subhadra appeared. Till today, they start any ritual saying that please accept this as a service on behalf of King Indradumna, who is your servant. And the current Gajapati Maharaj is Maharaj Divya Singh Deva. And till today, during Rath Yatra, he performs it's called Chera Pahara ceremony, when the king with a gold-handled broom, the king sweeps the ground from where the chariots of Lord Jagannath Baldev Subhadra will pass. So this act, it shows the humility. Though he is a king, he sees himself as a servant of the Lord. So Srila Prabhupada, he deeply admired this tradition. Prabhupada said that even the king sweeps the temple of the Lord, and that is the Vedic culture, to be humble before the Lord, no matter what your material position is. It comes in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya Lila, chapter 14 to 16, that during Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's time, the Gajapati was the king named Prataparudra, and was a very powerful emperor. And at first, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu avoided meeting him. He said, because Mahaprabhu had taken sannyas. So Mahaprabhu said that, what is the use of me, a sannyasi, meeting the king? But when during Rath Yatra, when the king humbly swept the streets with the golden broom, Mahaprabhu's heart melted. We also, when we have Rath Yatra here, we have this symbolic golden painted broom, and we all try to somehow or other get a chance to sweep for Lord Jagannath. So, like that, Gajapati Maharaj of Orissa at that time, King Prataparudra also did that. And eventually, Mahaprabhu embraced him and said that you are no longer a king. You are now a most elevated Vaishnava, because you have given up pride and you have become my servant. So, from this Gajapati tradition from about 500 years ago, we can see that the monarchical king is the first. First is a devotee before he is king. And Yatha Raja Tatha Praja, the people will follow him. So till today, in all, the situation in all of the states of India is that there are many multiple worshipable deities of various goddesses and other demigods. But in Orissa, there is only one, Lord Jagannath, the Lord of the universe. And even the Muslims, Sabaras, the Aboriginals, Buddhists, Muslims, they all worship Lord Jagannath since the time immemorial. Even one Muslim devotee of Lord Jagannath is very famous. He was in 17th century. His name was Saladeep. And he composed beautiful bhajans in love for Lord Jagannath. And one of the bhajans he wrote, it was very dear to Lord Jagannath. So in that bhajan, so because he was a Muslim, according to the rules of the temple, he could not go in the temple to see Lord Jagannath throughout the whole year. So he used to wait for the day of Rath Yatra when he will get the glimpse of Lord Jagannath. So he writes this bhajan in which he says that Ahila Shaila Prabalamatavaranam Prabalamatavaranam Mahārāja Vanapukaradana. So it is in Oriya language, and it means that, oh blue-shaded mountain, Ahila Shaila, you are so fortunate, and Lord of the universe has chosen you to rest on. And similarly, O Lord, please be merciful on me, and please walk on the quiet lotus forest of my heart as well. So it's a very heart-touching bhajan, and some other time maybe we share the whole bhajan. But the point is that such devotion, such unity comes in society because the king himself exemplifies who is the real king. He himself shows that the real king is Lord Jagannath. So for centuries, the kings of Orissa have, they have served Lord Jagannath. They have donated abundantly to the Ratna Bhandar of Puri temple. And even after so many invasions, this Ratna Bhandar, this treasure, is so massive. It is said that it is divided into three parts. The temporary treasure, from which routinely the jewelry that the Lord wears, it is kept there, and there is an outer chamber, Bahar Bhandar, and there is an inner chamber, Bhitar Bhandar. And the kings have donated so much. One king, it is said in the 16th century, he loaded 18 elephants with all the gold and precious jewels. And till today, when Lord Jagannath is offered the Shola Desa, the gold outfits, the outfits made entirely from gold, the entire bodies of these four massive 6 feet tall deities, they are covered in gold, including their massive gold mukuts. So it's amazing. So sorry, I know I got a little bit sidetracked, but the point is that, yes, the kings collected taxes in monarchy from people, but they also set example that ultimately it all belongs to the King of the Universe, Lord Jagannath, Krishna. And that is the secret of such united and devoted society. So our today's verse is a warning against the so-called democracy. Prabhupada explains that when the righteous monarchy ends, the corrupt democratic rulers arise. And these so-called democrats, they exploit power for their personal enjoyment. They don't care about spiritual's material welfare and forget about their spiritual welfare. And without a proper king, the selfish leaders, they turn into thieves, and following them, there are more thieves in society who exploit the population and take their wealth unreasonably. And of course, this will lead into friction in society, which will lead to widespread violence and more exploitation. So this verse describes a very dark future. People killing each other, cursing and harming one another, theft of animals, women, and wealth. So they are all signs of moral and social breakdown. And we are already seeing all of this. So in monarchy, the formula is Yatha Raja Tatha Praja. Society depends on the character of the king. But in anarchy, the absence of monarchy, the formula is Yatha Praja Tatha Raja, because people select a person from among themselves to rule them. So if the people are materialistic, self-centered, and undisciplined, they lack leaders who reflect those same qualities. That leader reflects the consciousness of the people. So in democracy, Yatha Praja Tatha, as are the people, so is the leader. So the result is corrupt politicians, policy, and the policies being made on the basis of who is more popular and on the votes, and not on the values. And the society is driven by economic greed and not dharma. So Srila Prabhupada says that when people become hogs and dogs, how will they choose saintly leaders? They will vote for somebody of their type. So instead of one responsible king in democracy, you get multiple irresponsible leaders, and many of them are self-serving individuals and not the servant of the Lord. So that results in tax burdens, corruptions, and general suffering of the Lord. So in short, in monarchy, bhakti keeps the society stable, because those kings are, as it is said, they are rajarshis, they are the kings and the rishis. And they rule keeping Krishna at the center. So that's why there is a harmony in society, and the people can live peacefully. And we also see a beautiful quality of Samit Rishi here. He says that from this day onwards, this reaction, the reaction of this sin will overtake us, Brahmanas. So Prabhupada in the purport says that Naha means that we are responsible. So Samit Rishi admits that the Brahmanas as a class must share the blame for this chaos in society that we can foresee. So, in short, when the kings are God conscious, society is protected. But when rulers are selfish, society collapses. And when spiritually awake leaders that are Brahmanas, they fail to act, they also must take the responsibility. So that was verse 44. Now let's see what Samit Rishi laments for in verse 45. Tadaya dharma praviliyate nrunam varna samacharayutastraymayaham ततोऽथ कामाभिनिवेशात्मनां शूनां कपीनामिव वर्णसङ्करम्. Let's look at synonyms. Tada, at that time. Arya, progressive civilization. Dharma, engagement. Praviliyate is systematically vanquished. Nrunam, of humankind. Varna, caste. Ashram, orders of society. Acharayutaha, composed in a great manner, in a good manner. Trayimayaha, in terms of the Vedic injunction. Tataha, thereafter. Artha, economic development. Kama, abhiniveshita, fully absorbed, in sense gratification. Atmanam, of men. Shunam, like dogs. Kapinam, like monkeys. Eva, thus. Varna Sankaraha, unwanted population. Translation by Krishna Kripamurti, whose loving divine grace is Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. At that time, the people in general will fall systematically from the path of a progressive civilization in respect to the qualitative engagements of the castes and the orders of society and the Vedic injunctions. Thus, they will be more attracted to economic development for sense gratification, and as a result, there will be an unwanted population on the level of dogs and monkeys. Would anyone like to read the purport, please?
Hare Krishna Mataji, I can do it.
Please continue.
Purport. It is foretold herein that in the absence of monarchical regime, the general mass of people will be unwanted population like dogs and monkeys. As the monkeys are too sexually inclined and dogs are shameless in sexual intercourse, the general mass of population born of illegitimate connection will systematically go astray from the Vedic way of good manners and qualitative engagements in the castes and orders of life. The Vedic way of life is the progressive march of civilization of Aryans. The Aryans are progressive in Vedic civilization. The Vedic civilization's destination is to go back to Godhead, back home, where there is no birth, no death, no old age, and no disease. The Vedas direct everyone not to remain in the darkness of the material world, but to go towards the light of the spiritual kingdom, far beyond the material sky. The qualitative caste system and the orders of life are scientifically planned by the Lord and his representatives, the great rishis. The perfect way of life gives all sorts of instructions in things both material and spiritual. The Vedic way of life does not allow any man to be like the monkeys and gods. A degraded civilization of sense gratification and economic development is the byproduct of godless or kingless government of the people, by the people, and for the people. The people should not, therefore, begrudge the poor administrations they themselves elect. Hare Krishna.
So, these words as well, together with the previous verse, they both have the same theme, a warning about social and moral collapse in the absence of righteous and God-centered leadership. So, in the previous verse, Samit Rishi focused on the political and social consequences. And in this verse, he's focusing on the cultural and spiritual consequences of monarchy and God-conscious leaders like Parīkṣit Mahārāja dying. So again, Samit Rishi is saying, he is accepting that this is the beginning of the fall down of us, Brahmanas. And when we are fallen, who will guide the society through Vedic Varnashram system? So without the Vedic structure of society, the Varnashram Dharma, people will lose purpose. They will chase wealth and pleasure, and they will act like animals. So as the word says, Shunam Kapinam Iva Varna Shankaraha. Like dogs and monkeys, they will become sex conscious, which will lead to Varna Shankar, unwanted population. So Brahmanas are the scholars of Vedas, and they guide the other three classes of men in the instructions of Vedas. And as Srila Prabhupada writes in the purport, the Vedas direct everyone not to remain in the darkness of the material world and go towards the light of the spiritual kingdom far beyond the material sky. So, in the purport, what Srila Prabhupada is referring to is one of the most profound prayers from Brihadaranyaka Upanishad. And everyone must have heard it. It says that Asato ma sadgamaya, tamaso ma jyoti gamaya, mrityo ma amritam gamaya. So, it means that lead me from asat to sat, from untruth to truth, from tamas to jyoti, from darkness to light, and from mrityu, death, to amritam, immortality. So, asato ma sat gamaya. So, asat means temporary, and sat means eternal. So, the prayer is that lead me from the temporary to the eternal. So, asat means the temporary material world, which is full of changes at every step, and it is full of illusion. And sat means spiritual reality, the eternal, unchanging truth of the a person being the soul, not his body, and as a part of the super soul, and the relationship between the soul and the super soul, relationship between soul and the Supreme Lord. So that is what Sat means. That is what being light means. So Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya, lead me from darkness to light. It means so tamas is also darkness is also representative of ignorance, the condition of being absorbed in the material sense gratification, because one is thinking that one is the body and forgetting that I am the soul, and I have a relationship with God. So Jyoti means the light of spiritual knowledge that removes the ignorance, the darkness of ignorance. So the goal is that to maneuver from this material world, playing the dodgeball, dodging the temptations of material sense gratification, and focusing on the light at the end of this dark tunnel, on the reality that our relationship with God is that we are servants of God. So that is what Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya, this prayer, it not only shows the light, but it brings us to the source of light, that is Krishna. And the second prayer, Mrityu Ma Amritam Gamaya, lead me from death to immortality. So Mrityu means bodily existence, repeated birth and death. And Amritam means eternal life in the spiritual world, in the loving service of the Lord. So in our purpose, Prabhupada has paraphrased this prayer and he has echoed the same message, this same deep prayer. So Prabhupada is reminding us that this human life is meant for escaping illusion and not enhancing this illusion. And the purpose of the Vedic civilization is not to enjoy material comforts, but to realize that Jivera Swarupaha Krishnera Dukyadas, knowing who I am, what is my relationship with the Lord, I am his servant, and focusing on going back to the Master, going back home, back to Godhead. The light is Krishna, and his spiritual abode, Vaikuntha, is the world of Sat, Chit, and Anand, full of eternity, knowledge, and bliss. And the beauty of the path that Srila Prabhupada has shown us is that when we chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. When we chant this, we are saying exactly the same thing. That, oh Lord, please take me from this temporary dark world and engage me in your eternal blissful service. Take me to the light. So that is the prayer Srila Prabhupada is referring to in the purport. But the concern of Swami Krishna is that now as the fall of us, Brahmanas, has begun, who are the guide of society, now the society will abandon the Arya Dharma, the noble and God-centered part of Vedic culture, which is rooted in Varnashram system, the division of society based on the qualities and activities people perform. So people will neglect Varnashram duties, Varnashram Dharma will break down, people will stop following duties based on Varna, their social role, and their ashram, the spiritual stage in life. And the thing is that these Varnashram, the Vedic injunctions of Varnashram, they guide their life materially and spiritually This guidance will be ignored or lost when people stop following Varnashram. So this system of castes, the spiritual orders, Varna and Ashram, as Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Chaturvarnya Maya Srishtam Guna Karma Vibhagashaha. So this system was designed by Lord himself, and it is not man-made. So when it is followed as it was designed, that division based on qualities and activities of the Lord, then it gives balance between the material needs of people and their spiritual growth. And without this proper varnashram, people become fully absorbed in, so if there is no dharma, then they get absorbed in just artha and karma, and they forget about moksha. So artha means economic development and karma means sense enjoyment. So they forget the dharma and moksha, religiosity and liberation. And as people will focus on karma, sense enjoyment, they will, so that's why Samikrishna is comparing them with dogs and monkeys. So when they act for sense gratification only, they will fail to distinguish what is right and what is wrong. So they will produce Varna Sankar children who are born from illicit relationships or unregulated relationships. So that will give rise to, as Samikrishna is saying, unwanted population. So then a generation with no values, no training in the spiritual subject matters, and no discipline will come. So Samikrishna is lamenting that, oh son, you have just cursed Parīkṣit Mahārāja, but you have also cursed the generations to come. Your curse is going to lead to a godless, kingless, beautyless society, which will slowly degenerate into materialism and people who are just chasing wealth and pleasure. So, in summary, both these words are saying that when dharma is forgotten, when society chases money and pleasure, and without spiritual vision, humans become like animals. And also, Samikrishna is saying that only God-conscious living beings, only they can, whether it is king or praja, because finally praja, the subjects, they follow the king. So only God-conscious population can truly progress towards the true goal of human life, which is to go back home, back to Godhead. Now, we see the problems. What problems are what Samikrishna is describing. But the question is, what do we do? What do we do now? Monarchy isn't coming back soon. So as Srila Prabhupada has carved this glorious path for us, we can create a spiritual monarchy in our heart on individual level. That is the least we can do. So in Kali Yuga, even without political monarchy, we can live under spiritual monarchy of Krishna, making him the king of our hearts, making him the king of our society. So we become citizen of dharma and we help others do the same. So Prabhupada often says that if we train even a few ideal men, ideal Krishna conscious men, then they can gradually influence the whole world. And so as Krishna conscious people, we are not meant to just stand by and lament helplessly as we go through Srimad Bhāgavatam. So Bhāgavatam opens our eyes and it shows us what is happening in the society, but our role is not just to read it and lament. By reading it, we should be getting inspiration that we are meant to be the torch bearers of light in this dark age, because we have Krishna with us and Krishna means that. So we need to live by example, by our acharam. Prabhupada says that Preachers mean that you must behave in such a way that people will be convinced in the philosophy, and people will be convinced in you that yes, this is a real devotee and I can trust what he says. So we first ourselves need to practice a clean and disciplined God-centered life. We need to ourselves follow the regulative principles and chant sincerely. And then we can bring more people. We recently celebrated these huge festivals, Snan Yatra, so many people came, Yoga Festival. So many new people came to temple by Lord's mercy. When they come, they see, they observe, and people are influenced not by words, but they are influenced by how we live as a society. So just from our acharan, we can also preach. And book distribution, Prabhupada said that distribute my books, this will save the world. So by reading them sincerely, understanding the message, sharing the message, following the message, and to share the message, we can start a little our own study group when we have understood the philosophy. We can do home programs. We can create the contents. Just repeat what Srila Prabhupada has said. So we can all contribute. And we can give people an alternative to the chaotic modern world, and we can give them a taste of spiritual community. But our Guru Maharaj used to say that we need to be, when we are approaching the community, we need to be compassionate and not fanatical. So, many people are suffering and confused, and we can invite their hearts and help them gradually come to Krishna. Some people, we just need to show them an indication, and they just come right into Krishna consciousness, and some take time. But when we do that, we can only do that if we become non-judgmental, but still firm in our Krishna conscious principles and the philosophy. Prabhupada said that create real society and not a society of cats and dogs, but a society of true devotees. So we can develop or support devotee initiatives, temples, farms, spiritual schools, and devotee neighborhoods. So we can support all of them. And Prabhupada said that devotees of the Lord, they are the only hope in this dark age of Kali. So we can all, as we hear Srimad Bhagavatam daily, we can all learn our lessons from Bhagavatam and try to be the person Bhagavat as much as we can, and eliminate our anarthas as much as we can. So that way we can shape the world and by how we live and whom we follow. These words, they are describing a very dark future, but by keeping Krishna in our heart, we can be the source of light for our own life, for our family's life, and for as many people as we can touch. So on that note, we will conclude here. Tomorrow we'll read verse 40, the following verses. But today, thank you so much for your enthusiastic participation. And if anyone has any questions or comments or corrections, please feel free to unmute and share. All right, Granthra Srimad Bhagavatam Mahapuran ki jai, Jagadguru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Have a very blissful Krishna conscious day. Hare Krishna.
Krishna, thank you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Thank you.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare